So it's 3:30 in the morning. We're getting ready to head off to Malaysia. We're just about to let go the lines, and then a thunderstorm came thumping through. So we're still tied up at the marina, which is good because you know, big thunderstorms, good place to be. We're up the top there, where that little blue dot is. This is windy.com, their app, and this is the weather radar showing the thunderstorm activity just sort of southwest of Batam City and coming straight over the top of our heads. Luckily we hadn't let go of the lines, we were just about to, so yeah, I mean, we're weathering this one inside the marina still, but we're very keen to get going because we need to ride that tide through the Singapore Strait. The current there runs up to 5.3 knots according to the charts, and reports from boaties are that it runs easily at 4 knots. So you know, we need to get that in our favour. But we will go as soon as this clears away. It shouldn't be more than probably half an hour, hopefully. Of course that could matter with the tide, but anyway, what can you do? You've got to find a balance. Well, we're having a challenging morning. So we did leave. Thunderstorms sort of gave way to squally weather. So we've had 25 to 30 knots on the nose. Wind against tide here in the Singapore Strait. It's been a pretty shitty day actually. And as we're approaching the Singapore Strait Channel, there's a crossing point that we're aiming for. The GPS and the AIS have just quit, so I'm down on a handheld plotter downstairs. We're going to have to work our way through without AIS and without the chart plotter at my fingertips. Nothing I can do about that, it's just the way it is. Very unfortunate, bad timing. And when we get to the other side, it's going to be complex over there too. This is probably the most complex navigation there is, you know, in Asia, and that's when my chart plotter and AIS died. Alright, so we're right on the edge of the Singapore Strait here now, no AIS, no GPS. The chart plotter I've got downstairs on the little tablet is dying, so we could be on our phone pretty shortly. We're going to have to cross 90 degrees straight across the Singapore Strait onto the other side. We're going to miss the tide window that we were after. Really not much we can do about that, but at least conditions have moderated now. It was blowing pretty damn hard before, and we had wind against tide. We had quite steep seas. We're now quite good, but I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, at least 30 ships within my range of view, and I can see maybe not more than 5 miles. Alright, so we're going to be busy. Probably won't be filming a lot as we go through here. Talk to you soon. So we crossed the Singapore Strait. We're on the Singapore side now, between Indonesia and Singapore, and you can see in the GoPro they look quite small, but those are big ships and they're very close. We've got a warship behind us shadowing. I think he's making sure we don't slide into Singapore waters there, so we're just sort of creeping along the edge of the Singaporean ocean boundary, I guess. You can see Singapore on the starboard side here. So this is all Singapore, very industrial. Lots of smokestacks and cranes and ships and tanks, you name it. Yeah, been pretty busy so far, but hasn't been too bad. Nothing that we couldn't manage, even without the AIS. Can you believe that? I still don't have AIS or GPS. At the moment, all I've got is a chart that we're navigating from, and I've got a GPS chart plotted. Well, I've got a tablet downstairs running the Navionics app, which I can reference. So I'm going down there from time to time to check it up, but I don't have AIS. Strangely though, we can transmit AIS, so everyone can see us, but we can't see anyone else. And our buddy boat Bruce is a fair way behind us, I think maybe 3 or 4 mile behind. We've still got the tide in our favour for a little bit longer. I'm hoping that's enough to get us around this corner and then allow me to fill up the sails with some wind, so if the tide, or when the tide turns, I'll have the sails to be able to overcome it. We're only about 3 miles, half an hour about half an hour away from a turn that'll give us probably 40 degrees to starboard, which might be enough, maybe. At least half as close as that to other ships here so far. We've just been too busy to film it, guys. I'm really sorry for that, but you know, the boat's got to come first over this pet project of ours.
Bye bye, Indonesia.
There we go. So we're being shadowed by a police boat, the Honeycomb Bay. It came out of Singapore, so I assume he's wanting to talk to us. I don't know what for. We're in international waters, I believe. I certainly hope so. He's still a little undecided. He's just cruising along beside us. Gave him a wave, but he ignored us. There you go. Anyway, nothing happening yet. Just Singapore protecting their borders, I think. That's all it is. Well, we're in the narrow waterway now between Malaysia and Singapore. It's getting quite narrow in here. Not a lot of traffic moving up and down the channel though, so it's not too bad. It's a few little barges and tugs pulling things around, but not as much as I would fear. But you can see how close we are. That's Singapore on this side. We're right up against that loading jetties and ports and whatever. And then there's the anchorage there, and there's Malaysia on this side. And it's quite, well, it's wide here. It's getting narrower and narrower. It'll eventually get down to the size of a river, I guess. We're not really constrained too much. We can move around quite a bit. We've got a bit of water here, but in the next 20 minutes we're going to find ourselves in a very narrow passage, and we'll also need to pass under a bridge where we've got to get between the poles straight down a narrow passage. So not really challenging, but you need to be aware of what you're doing here. There's a bit going on. So this is the bridge between Malaysia on our port side and Singapore on our starboard side, and I've never been under a bridge before in a sailboat. This one apparently has a height of 25 metres and my mast is about 18 metres, so we should have stacks of room. But one chart does show that there's reefs either side of the poles, and another chart shows there's not. I don't know, we're just going to go nice and slow and sneak through that middle part. There is another entrance there with a clearer channel, but it only has a 12 metre clearance, so there's no way we're going through there. Making the entrance into Puteri Harbour Marina. We've been given a berth allocation, so we're going to go in and tie up and figure out immigration and all that stuff once we get in there. Apparently we can do it with the marina. So we're getting chauffeured up to the immigration department here at Puteri Harbour Marine. This is pretty flash. In an electric vehicle, yeah, this is nice. Check out the waterfront here in the marina. Going backwards, that's kind of cool. I'll reverse the video maybe.
That's the office. That's the office?
That's office.
Being right right up here near the equator. When it rains, it really rains. So we're right in thunderstorm season right now. A lot of thunderstorms coming and going around us. Very, very good. Whoa. Very, very good time to be sitting in the marina, let me tell you. Very happy we're here.
Where you go? Huh? Go where? Go where? Go where?
The marina here at Puteri Harbour in Malaysia is one of the nicest we've seen. It's quite a small marina, and but it's very, very calm inside, very well maintained, very cheap, not expensive. I think our 47-foot boat is costing us something like 25 Australian dollars a night. I mean, it's less than probably a fifth of what we would spend in Australia. So yeah, pretty good value. Supermarket's about 500 metres away. There's an ATM about 500 metres away. Certainly there's lots of expat type restaurants not far away either. Huge roads, lots of infrastructure here, but very few people. Odd, like huge apartment buildings and hotels, but almost nobody to fill them up. Kind of weird. Anyway, crossing the road is pretty easy. It's like level 1 in Frogger. Whoa, here comes a car, look out. Oh, he's going the other way. There he goes. Oh, look out, a car. Yeah, so I don't know, those of you old enough to remember Frogger, the tabletop game. So this is like level 1. Not even that. It's so easy. There's no cars, no people.
Already.
Flash.
Where? Ah!
Heineken beer. Check it out. Yeah. Yum, yum, yum. We've got a fair bit of stuff. Some of it we need, a lot of it we don't. But you know how it is when you've been away from all this stuff and then you get a bit of retail therapy. We did manage to get some pork, which is really cool. I'm very happy with that. Some bacon.